And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley. What is up, everyone? Grab your coffee. You're ready to go. This is Wes and Robert here. Yeah, you got to have that in the morning. It's early in the morning, and we're getting ready to talk about the book. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, Ours Victorious. Catch it on Amazon. Robert wrote it. We're getting through there. I think we got like 4 or 5 more chapters here. We are talking about insecurities today, which we all got them.
Absolutely. And actually, this was very fun to write because this was a friend on IG who said the problem in social media is we're so far away from reality. And I kind of pushed back and said, not really. I said, there's really this very cool thing about a post. It's like a first date. Mm-hmm. So every post is hyper scrutinized because it's like, this is my first impression of you, right? I mean, yes, we have friends, long time things, but we're always thinking about that first person that clicks on and sees us. So it's really is like that, that first date, you got that few seconds to do something and make a great first impression. But the thing I caught about that was it's all about control.
Yeah.
We want control over the impression. We want control over how we look. I said in the book, control, we like it, we love it, we want more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, when you think about it, our lives are very out of control.
Yeah.
And so this is a place where we can exercise some. So we, like our own PR agent, we keep trying to make the best first impression we possibly can with every single post. So it's kind of hyper scrutinized. And so then everybody picks on it and says it's not reality. Well, no, it's the reality of a first date.
Yeah.
Okay. Always your best foot forward. You're never, you're not, I hope you're not rolling out all your neuroses on the first date, right? Like handing them a CV that says, this is all the things I've been treated for in the past, right?
You know what? It's funny, like as I was reading through that, I was sitting there thinking, you put your best foot forward on the first date. When the real first date is the first time that you're comfortable enough to pass gas, to cut one in front of them. I mean, that's when the reality comes out. It's like, I've decided that this is okay.
You've decided to be human in front of them.
Yep, exactly. Because you spend all this time, and I have questions about even the dating world with you, because I have never it's been a long time, right? Like I've been married for 24 years. I haven't had to go on a date for 24 years. But you have been through it. You've been married a couple times. You have dated in multiple time frames. And so this whole situation, I think you deal with this a lot more with having to learn how to do with this online dating, making a first impression online. These people who do put their best foot forward. I mean, you scroll through TikTok. I mean, you look at everyone's picture is always their best picture. It's not like you look at some pictures and you see someone who is my driver's license says that I weighed 235 pounds. Well, I weighed 235 pounds when I took that picture, but I weigh 260 now. So it's kind of that's what you get. The impression that is made on social media is your best foot forward in a light with the camera up high so you look thinner. You've got your makeup all done. Maybe you're wearing something that you wouldn't normally wear just to get someone to catch your attention by a picture.
It's so true. And I was talking to a good friend about aging, and I said it's an ugly event, right? Mm-hmm. Because you think that you age, one day every day. But in reality, we don't see it until all of a sudden we see it. It's like, oh, geez, what is that? Oh my gosh, that's wrinkles. And it's like, for some reason, you avoided seeing them for 3 years.
Yeah.
All of a sudden it's, oh, I've got wrinkles. But you really are trying very hard to make the best impression you can and try to put yourself out there in a way that is most becoming, In other words, I want you to know my best features before you know my worst features.
Right.
Right. uh, always said, I really don't want to be judged on my best day, and I don't really want to be judged on my worst day. I'd kind of like you to take an average, right?
Yeah. And the thing is like the majority of all of that stuff is like we are our biggest enemy. We are our biggest bully. We are more critical of ourselves than anyone else because the reality is you think that that person is looking at you because of this and this and they don't even notice those things. You notice them. It's like my 2-year-old coming over here and tapping on my face right here and he's like, "Mole, you got a mole here." Like he's like he notices that, but do other people notice that? I mean, it's just one of those things that you know we are very critical of ourselves.
Well, but we're the center of our universe. We're not the center of someone else's.
Right. Exactly.
And that's, and we also spend, 24/7 with ourselves, and other people don't. So we just somehow think that when we walk into a room that they see our worst features. They see whatever they see based upon who they are in the
Mm-hmm.
past, right? And it's like, well, but what if they see? I'm like, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
really easy. But you were talking about dating in different generations. So obviously, I've dated in my teens. I'm every decade I've dated in of
Mm-hmm.
my life, and it. I won't say it's gotten harder. It's not harder. It's more, in some cases, more chilled than it ever has been before.
Right.
But there's also less of a reason to couple now, the older you get.
Mm-hmm.
There's less of a reason to get together. When you're in your 20s, you're trying to get married and have kids and all that well, that stuff's over. You're not having any more kids at my age.
Right.
You're sitting here thinking, what's the reason for getting together? Well, I want company. Yeah, okay, but there's no real giant pressing need. So people come at dating just a little bit different, trying to express themselves. And boy, do they come with a lot of baggage. You come with the other person's kids, you come with the other person's exes, you come with the other person's insecurities, you come with the other person's stuff they've done to them in the past. Like I dated a girl in my 40s and I had two phones,
Mm-hmm.
and she immediately thought I was cheating on her.
Yeah.
And I said, why? And she said, because my ex who cheated on me had two phones. I just
Yeah.
didn't know about the other phone. I was like, so I'm a little clueless here. I'm showing you I have two phones. Doesn't that kind of remove the specter? And if I'll hand you both phones and let you look at them, doesn't that remove yeah, but it's just the idea that you have two of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, okay, fair enough. But again, everybody has these triggers, right? Because of what people have done to them in the past. These are these insecurities that people have, right?
Yeah.
Like one friend is like, she's starting to get gray hair. And she's like, oh my God. And I'm thinking, she's a beautiful woman. I mean, she's not epic model beautiful, but she's a beautiful woman, right?
Yep.
And so you look and you go, you're going to look amazing, right? My tastes, fortunately, have aged with me, meaning I look at a 50-year-old woman, I go, you're gorgeous. With the little crinkles in the eyes and all that stuff, you're gorgeous. I mean, so that's not, and I guess people are not accepting of that because they kind of think everybody needs to look like they're 32
Right.
their whole life. And that's just not realistic. And so that insecurity comes out. And so you end up with people with all these filters, right? Especially like on TikTok. You know how it goes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that was funny because I was sitting here thinking, I'm gonna do I'm gonna do the inverted filter on here so that like this looks like it's supposed to, this looks like it's supposed to, it's not backwards or whatever. And I go
Right.
to click on it and I'm like, I couldn't find it, but it pulls up the first one. It pulls up as like some glamour filter and it makes me look all different. I'm like, no. But that's what they do. Like you get these filters for people and like I don't know. I don't understand how, like, if I'm going to use a filter on here, it's going to be just for fun. Like, it's going to be for a joke. It's not going to be like, hey, I'm trying to make myself look better. And I feel like people are so insecure about who they are. And that insecurity is brought on by themselves because someone said something, someone did something, and we put these things on top of who we are based on how we feel, not how other people feel. Or maybe one time you heard someone say, I'll take it back to this post that I have that it was basically the first viral photo post that I ever had. It got like tons and tons of views and tons of hate. I saw some girl say, "Tell me you don't look your age," without telling me you don't look your age. And then I took that and I did it in my own voice, and people are like just going off. It's like, you look like you're over 40, you look like you're 50, you look like you're this, you look like you're that. Someone lied to him, like just totally tearing me apart. And then other people are like, "You look damn good." And the thing is like, it's a perception thing. And so we perceive, there may have been like 10 or 15 people who said something bad about it, but then there was like thousands of people who said something good. And we sit here and we take in the worst of that. We don't take in the best of that. And it's all about how we perceive something. We get so insecure because we've determined that that's bad.
It was funny. I think the first time that people realized on TikTok in the morning that I just finished the run and that is actually sweat coming off my nose. It's dripping down. And they're looking at me like, "Did you really get on TikTok sweating?" Yes. My son, when he said, "You should go on TikTok, you should go on social media, you should start filming your progression." And I said, "Well, super, but I'm going to be myself. Not only am I not going to put a filter on, you're going to think that I'm using a filter called the workout filter."
Yeah.
Because I'm literally sitting there sweating profusely and it's dripping down and people are like, "Oh my God, you're actually sweating." Yes. And so in other words, on TikTok, even on here, you get to see the worst of me. Because most of the time in the morning when I'm with you, I have finished a run. This morning I'm doing pretty good, but I'm still sweating.
Yeah.
I've taken a shower and all that stuff, but I can't cool down that fast.
Right.
And so, you get what you get. I don't use makeup. I don't use a filter. Now, I will say that this lighting I have is actually makes me look better. Okay. So I'll that's nice. I'll say.
Whose opinion, Robert? Whose opinion?
Well, it makes it more tolerant for me to look at myself, if that put it that way.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing though. It's like, it could be like you look great. It's like we're all worried about that, but the reality is that I think that we're harder on, like I said, we're our biggest bully. We're harder on ourselves than anyone else will ever be on us, I feel like.
Right. And I think some of what we're trying to do in social media, and that's why I talk about our insecurities, is a little bit of escapism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I know that people think that social media is, it's made up and stuff, and people will take the best pictures of their vacation and everything. But, that's how I remember vacations. I remember the high points of vacations. I don't remember the negatives. And to be honest with you, I don't want to see the bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I go into Instagram or whoever, I'm looking at people's stuff. Man, I want to see you happy.
Right.
I want to see you celebrate. I'm not envious. I don't judge myself against you, but I want to see the best things. I want to see fantastic locations and clear blue water and all that. I want to see that. That's why I go on there. I engage in escapism on Instagram, right? If I want realism, I stay on TikTok. Why?
Right.
Because people.
You got to be you got to get in the right spot on that algorithm too. Like if you watch the things that you want to watch, you're going to get what you want to get. And that is the truth. I mean, you look at like Instagram, I think of it the same way. It's like, that is basically a picture of my vacation, right? Just like you said, those are the best pictures that I have. I'm not going to give you the worst. I'm going to give you, and that's just the way that platform is. I'm going to give you the best of what I've got because that's what you're looking at. So when you say that that's fake, it's not really, that's not fake. It's just like you said, that's a great way of looking at it. Like, go look at your photo albums and find what you took a picture of. You took the picture of the things that you wanted to remember, which are usually the best things. You don't want to remember the shitty things.
So, no, the highlights.
Yep. TikTok.
No, what you want to do is you want to run the highlights of a football game where everybody gained no yards.
Right.
Right? I mean, come on. What do you want to do? I want to see the touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
No, let's have the highlights. The highlights, watching a guy run into the line and get no yards.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, folks.
That's what I
And
like
so,
about
God,
TikTok though, is like it's authentic, and that's what you hear about people. Like the comments that I get on my posts a lot of times are like, I love that you're so real. And that's what it is. It's like I'm gonna tell you, like when I get on here, and I don't post as much as I used to, but I would like when I post, I'm posting something that I'm feeling in the moment right then and there, whether it's a
Mhm.
good thing or a bad thing. It's and that's, I feel like that's kind of what your posts are about too, is like you're looking for a quote of the day, but it is in relation to what you're doing. It's in relation to what's going on, what is propelling you to be better today, or continuing to get up and go do that run and think about it. Like you talked about, your run is kind of your time for you to run through the things that you're thinking about. That's, a lot of people do that. Like I remember when I first started doing this, and it still happens, like you're in the shower and you're thinking about like, okay, so what do I got to do today? I got to do this, I got to do that. I can't believe so and so did this. This is how I feel about that. Like you're trying to find those moments of solidarity when you can figure out what you're going to do that day.
yeah, and I think that escapism has some real value for you. But one of the things I thought was really interesting when I first got onto social media was the ability to eliminate distance. Right? You and
Yeah.
I don't live close to each other.
Yep.
The one thing that I think all this technology has done is allowed us to share, is to find kind of our people, our tribe, whatever you want to, no matter where they're located.
Yeah.
I have very few people on my feed that are actually in my same state.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, these people I say good morning to every single day, right? Just able to spread joy. And I believe on my posts, I have 14 different countries. So there are people that literally post every day on my site that are from different countries.
Right.
I think that's wonderful. That's real distance. So I have to kind of remember, of course, when I'm posting back, I don't say good morning to them because I know where they're at, whether it's Australia or Germany. It's not morning for them.
Right.
So you kind of have to alter what you say. But it's so cool that we can cut these distances down. It's so cool that we can share experiences, and our collective humanity is in a position where we're closer to each other than we ever were before. We can share experiences. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like it gives you the opportunity to pick the brain of someone that you've never met. Like that's why I love doing the podcast. It's like when I was doing interviews, you could interview someone in Canada, you could interview someone in England, you could interview whoever, and their thoughts on success, how they're pushing forward, the things that they're doing. Like you're able to reach out to that person where, you know, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, it was like you have to go find that person. Like you'd have to go to a conference, you would have to go knock on their door, you would have to figure out where they were at. And not everyone is everywhere. I live in Idaho. At one point,
Well,
no one was coming to Idaho.
right. Well, one of the things that I noticed, and especially this is me, I'm prior service military, and so I got deployed for 3 or 4 months at a time. And because of the way technology was in the 80s, when I got deployed, you didn't hear from me other than a postcard. I disappeared
Right.
for 3 or 4 months. Matter of fact, it was so bad that I had to learn to prepay my bills. And I would come back and there'd be a big stack of bills in the mail. But I didn't make phone calls because they were hideously expensive. So the world was completely different where I would just vanish, right?
Yeah.
My son is being deployed forward here in October. I'll be able to talk to him like I talk to you
Right.
every day if I want,
Yep.
right? The distance is gone. It's not postcards. Now, I know what his experience is kind of like, but it doesn't matter. It's so cool to be able to connect with people and to eliminate distance. And,
Right.
and, and really, just again, everybody can see the negative and positive. The negative with that is guys were literally coming out of war zones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being shot at and put on FaceTime with their spouse.
Right.
And they were still like, they were still couldn't hear. Why? Because weapons are loud.
Yeah.
So they would literally get on time and they would be like, I have to detox to talk to you because of what I just did. So there's good and bad to everything, but I still think that there's so, even though we have all these insecurities, right? And we're trying to cover them or mask them, I still think we're allowing enough of our reality to come through that our humanity is shared. I think it's pretty cool.
Yep. No, it's a great way to get to know people. It's a great way to interact with people, and you know, I love the fact that it kind of groups you. It kind of gets you where you need to be. That you can build these relationships with people that you would never have the opportunity to build a relationship with. You know, so pretty cool
Very
thing.
true.
Definitely cool. Well, with that, I think we are done here for the day. But I wanted to thank everyone for hanging out with us. Remember those connections. Remember those things that you can do today. And our insecurities are usually more on ourselves. Like I said, we are our biggest bully. We're going to pick on ourselves the most out of anyone. Give yourself a little bit of grace and go out there and try and make it better.
Absolutely. And say hi to somebody today. Just be, be kind.
Yep.
Doesn't hurt.
Yep. Check out Robert's book, Ars Victorious. Get it on Amazon. We'll have a little ad here at the end. And please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Catch a review on Apple Podcasts. If you're listening to this, we appreciate you. We need those reviews to help everything keep pushing out. And have a great day.
Bye bye now.